I'm going to open up the Town of Barre Finance Committee meeting. And let's see, to start, we are going to go over the approval for the prior two meetings minutes. Oh, just as a reminder, this meeting is being recorded and broadcasted. Is anybody else present recording anything? All right, thank you very much.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from October 21st and November 25th.
I will second that. Nice job, Don. First pass. All right, so we have a motion to approve meeting minutes from the prior two meetings. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Abstain from that one, because I wasn't at that meeting.
Yep.
Okay.
From the October 21st, which you vote in favor to accept the meeting minutes from November 25th.
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you very much. All right, moving on to new business. So we do have a couple of articles still left to give a recommendation for from the special town meeting packet. There was some articles going through it that we see were removed. Melanie, just give me context around why those were removed.
So the meals tax, rooms tax, and special, the impact fee for the short-term rentals were removed because I did not get the information from DOR to include for people to make an educated decision on that. And what was the other one I removed? I'm trying to remember now. The prior year invoice for Matrix, because I don't know if the build out was even complete. So I'm gonna look into that a little bit more, so bring it up more.
Okay.
Okay. All right, so with that being said, we will move to Article 2, which was Article, in the original packets, was Article 3. Thank you, Aaron. It's now Article 2, and that is the Department of Public Works Superintendent truck replacement. This is to see if the town will vote to transfer from the Capital Improvement Stabilization Fund the sum of $71,915.02 to purchase and equip a new truck for the Department of Public Works, including all other incidental or related costs or any other sum, said funds to be expended under the direction of the Select Board or take any other action relative thereto. So the description is the Department of Public Works Superintendent truck was struck in a head-on collision and deemed totaled. The insurance proceeds from the appraised value of $24,780.98 will be added to the requested $71,915.02 for a total of $96,969.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I found out today that we do not have enough money in the capital stabilization account to
Okay.
pay for it, so it would have to come from the regular stabilization account.
Okay.
We said there was 245,000 in there last meeting. There's not?
No, there's not. There's $24,916.36.
And the other account was, I'm sorry?
Stabilization.
Stabilization.
Yeah, and in there's $747,322.95.
How much was that again?
Which one is?
700.
The stabilization, the 747,322.95. I'm gonna have to look at that 245 that you have. Is that in the minutes as to when that was stated?
I don't see anything. We have a question
I'm
in
gonna
the
have to
audience.
look into that, because I don't have anything that's 245.
Go ahead, man.
I'll get
I was
back to you
just
on that.
curious if I'm correct, the stabilization is supposed to be a minimum percentage of your annual budget, correct?
You mean the usage of?
The balance should not be lower than like 5% or something like that?
I'm not aware that Barre has financial policies outlining
I
that.
believe it's state law, MGL requirement to maintain that.
Can you
Stabilization
send me
minimum.
that, can you send me that Mass General Law?
I'll dig
I
it
am
up.
not familiar with it.
But I'm just curious what our current percentage is, that 714,000 compared to the annual.
I would have to let you know because I don't have those facts with me. But if you can send me that Mass General Law, I'd appreciate it because I'm not aware of that one, where there's a law that says you have to have X amount of money in your stabilization.
Okay. I'll dig it up.
Okay,
I'll share
thank you.
whatever I understand.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I've got a question about the truck. I know it was into a head-on and stuff, and we got reimbursed for the appraised value.
Mhm.
Do you know what year the truck was, or you may know?
Yeah, I know, it was mine, 2017.
Okay. Is it feasible to buy a used one? I don't even know, was it a 5,500, a
3,500
A 3,500?
for the utility body.
Did it have a dump body on
No,
it, or a sander?
Utility body.
Just a utility body? Could we buy a used one? I mean, that would suffice and not have to even transfer funds?
I guess
I
that's,
mean, you know,
my thing, when we're doing these purchases, we're purchasing for 10 years.
yeah,
And try to get 10 years out of a town pickup truck,
right.
utility truck, whatever you want to call it. Also, when replacing the plow, along with that, that's part of that $96,000. So $11,000 of that cost is for a replacement plow for that truck. We've purchased some used stuff. The problem with buying used stuff, we have to have money readily available to go out and try to find this, and to be able, just like if you had to go purchase something.
Right.
When we work with new stuff, we get all this equipment off the state bid, that's all the procurement's already done. And it's generally $20,000 cheaper, we get it through the state bid, right around it, anywhere from 18, 20,000 cheaper than the average person can buy a piece of equipment or a truck. My recommendation, and I hope you trust me as a department head to show where, the direction I think is the right way to go for the town, is to purchase this truck new, and then have it, like we tried to make it last 10 years. They do a lot of work in this town, the smaller trucks, and as you can see by the amount of equipment that was in the backyard of the highway barn, go through a lot of trucks. Because the roads are not in good shape, and the smaller pickup trucks aren't made to do what has been asked of them. The truck that I want to buy, and I feel the need to get it, is as heavy duty as I can buy on a small chassis. I need the bigger utility body to carry all my tools. We basically live, the 3 department heads basically live out of our trucks. What we carry between clothing, it's expensive electronic tools that go, and that's why I want an extra cab. I've heard a comment about, oh, we need a 6-person cab. It's not a 6-person cab. It's just the extra cab, the super cab, where we can keep our stuff instead of being piled on the front seat. And anytime anybody wants to get in the truck, I have a pile of stuff, because it's important to keep that stuff so we're constantly ready, just like the fire department. Fire department's the same way. What we carry is important, we keep it in a safe place so it's always there, high and dry. I'm trying to do the best thing for the town, so when I respond, I'm available 24/7, 365. That's my job. When I leave my house, whenever I get a call, and it doesn't matter what time, I respond to the scene, take care of the problem. 90% of the time I can take care of it with what I carry within the tools that I carry in my truck. I heard a few comments that, well, what do we need a truck like that to carry a couple of shovels? Well, I welcome you to come see what we have to carry between the water, sewer, and highway trucks to make the town run efficiently, It saves a lot of trips back and forth to the highway barn. Everything that we do, the highway department is at one end of town, and we're always traveling from one side to the other. There was a question about diesel. We're getting away from the diesels, and there's a good reason for that. The cost, for one thing, they're about $18,000 more. So add that 96,000, add roughly 18,000 more to that price for the diesel. The reason we weren't getting away from the diesels is because we've had so much trouble. Our trucks do so much idling. It's not good for these small diesels. We have constant emissions problems with them because they're not out on the highway. We're just around town, 40, 50 miles an hour at the most, up, 122, and we're always around town working. Though, the smaller diesels are made to be out on the highway, and you actually can burn out, and the exhaust system actually works properly when that happens. We also don't have to buy diesel exhaust fluid. That's another cost. And the cost of maintaining the diesels is a lot more than the gas engines. I did a lot of research. I'm a diesel fan, believe me. I own diesel trucks myself, but I'm sick of the cost also. The gas engines that are in most of the towns are trying and switching to the gasoline engines because of that. The same reasons I'm telling you. Yeah, 8 to 10 miles to the gallon, that's what they get. We can't make up, we don't make that. They have just as much power as the diesels, and we own one right now. I bought one, a gas job to try it. It's sitting right out here now, and it's a monster of a truck. It's a Ford, it's an F600. It's a little heavier than what I'm looking, to replace the pickup that was smashed up. And I didn't get anything fancy. I mean, this is the cost of a truck. It's an XL package. It's a working man's package. The utility body itself is $13,000. I don't make those prices up, but the utility body is important for what we do to carry all our tools, high and dry, along with the expensive stuff we put in the cab. We have locators for locating water gates. We have leak detection equipment. We just bought another for $7,000. I don't want to put that in a toolbox in the side of the truck. That needs to go in a cab where it's high and dry and stays there secure. There's a lot of things that I wish I came to the last meeting. I didn't know about the last meeting, and I think this meeting we wouldn't have been even talking like this. Right now I live 10 miles away. When I get my house built, done in Ocam, I'm gonna be 2.5 miles from the Barre town line. As for, there was questions I heard about gas mileage. Well, I'm not traveling with this truck 10,000 miles. I might, if I travel 2,000 miles a month, we'll just call it 2,000 to 3,000 miles a month. That's a lot for what I do. Sometimes I have to run to Leominster to get parts. Sometimes we have to run to New Hampshire to get parts, pump part. But it's far and few between. It's not. This is a work truck. You got to remember, I'm a working superintendent. I'm a regular worker, just like the other guys. I just happen to be in charge to make this circus run. And I think, if you ask anybody around town that's in the past year, I'll be here a year by the end of the month, and look at the progress that we've done and some of the decisions that I've made to get this program, the whole DPW working together and with the overhead of town. I mean, selectmen, town administrator, treasurer, all this stuff. We've got a great working relationship, and I hope that you guys can see that the decisions that I've made have been the right ones, and we've made a lot of progress with the DPW.
Was there anything that, other equipment that the town, in your year, what other equipment do you think your department is gonna need in the future from these accounts?
Yeah, I had a discussion with Melanie the other day, and the selectmen, about capital improvement, and it's really, I've done a 5-year plan. Every municipality that I've worked for, we've done a 5-year plan every year. Things change, okay? And you say, well, give us a 5-year plan. Well, next year, that changed, give us another 5-year plan. The next step for us is to purchase a new dump truck, okay? A fully equipped 10-wheeler dump truck is $400,000. That's with snow equipment, sander body, and a heavy-duty cabin chassis.
And that's what I thought was this stabilization fund was supposed to be all about.
The capital one is, unfortunately, Barre does not have a capital improvement committee, which is essential to having a capital plan. We don't have a committee, we don't have a plan, we don't have a financial policy that outlines a percentage that should go into that every year. That's why I'm really looking forward to this budget season, because these are the things that we need to mark down. This budget season is gonna be terrible, but we need to mark them down.
I'm not looking forward to it.
And we need to move forward with a capital plan. So part of this budget season, we're going to be looking at a capital plan. I'll meet with the major department heads. What are we going to need in the future? And we obviously cannot afford a $400,000 dump truck. Not going to happen right now. But hopefully during this budget season, we can come up with a plan to be able to do that. You should be buying equipment with at least a 5-year life, and there should be a rotation to it.
Do your trucks usually, your normal trucks usually come out of that budget, or does it come from the selectmen?
Well, usually like we fit that into the, yeah, that would be just like the purchase of the fire trucks, the exact same thing. Comes out of town meeting vote. Fortunately, the DPW has, Chapter 90 for the state money. We've been able to purchase a new 1-ton dump truck, I was able to purchase a new loader, and I was able to purchase 2 used vehicles to get us by. They were 10 years old. They were a great asset to us. We were able to buy them with plows and sander bodies, the whole deal. They were former town trucks prior to us. We gained so much by getting, because I've had to take other Mack trucks out of service. Our old trucks were good old trucks, but how long do we hold on to good old trucks and keep dumping money? They were good old trucks. I grew up around here with them. I know all about them. And yes, I love them, but at some point, things wear out, and it's time, when you're spending too much money on things. I have a truck right now, I could put 20+ thousand into it, on a 2004 truck. I don't wanna do that. We did a Band-Aid by we purchased a used 10-wheeler and a used 6-wheeler with plows and the sander bodies for $174,000 with Chapter 90 money. All the stuff that we've replaced since I've been here has been all with Chapter 90 money. It hasn't cost the town anything, fortunately. So I just hope that you trust in how I'm trying to manage the department and be fair to the town, but really, we haven't spent any town money on, other than huge repairs on the old equipment.
I'm sure the question's gonna come up, so I'm gonna ask it so it's in the public
Yeah.
domain. What's the difference between what got wrecked and totaled to what the new one
The difference in cost?
is? The difference overall.
Okay, basically heavier GVW, so I can have capacity, so we have a big equipment trailer that I purchased with the F600 out there, that we can have options to tow equipment around town, especially during water leaks. We do a lot of equipment moving, steel plate moving, so having the capacity of the trucks to be able to do stuff like that is important. It's all about efficiency and time. The more efficient we are, the less time, like, just for example, the water leaks are fixed in a fast. If we carry the stuff on, we carry 90% of the stuff that we have, we can fix most anything in town, other than lengths of pipe. We still have to go back and get lengths of pipe. Again, I come from the fire world also, and I'm all about being ready for what comes in front of you.
Well, it needs to be it needs to be cost effective, where you're not running back and forth, back and forth, back and
Correct.
forth, and wasting hours,
Yes.
which in the course of a year,
Correct.
if you blow $50,000 in payroll because you went back and forth, what are we saving?
Well, I'll give you a good example. We have had a couple leaks here on 122. That's at the end of our water system here, but every time we need something, it's up and down the hill, up and down the hill. And it's the same when we're sanding. from that end of town to this end of town, back all the way across town to get sand, and bringing another load back up. So there's a lot of things that I wanna try to streamline, and with a smaller crew, you just wanna do the same amount of work, you need bigger equipment. That's, and I don't foresee us fulfilling, the DPW to a full staff of 5 anytime soon. We've got 3 in the DPW.
Would this, plow that you put on it, would it add a plow to our service currently?
Yes, well, what ends up happening with like my truck, when something breaks down, my truck goes into, and that's what happened with my pickup that was in the accident. Anytime something broke down, we needed another truck to fill that spot. So that's where that would be. That would not have probably not have a primary plow ready. It would
Okay.
be
An extra?
an extra.
Okay.
But it did happen several times last winter that my truck had to go into use because of the amount of breakdowns that we did have with the equipment.
Do we have a dump body already for the town? I mean, does the DPW have a dump body that they use to transport the sand back and forth if we're gravel?
Oh, yeah.
When
Yeah,
you're
we-
doing a dig up?
Yeah, we do all of that. We have several dump bodies, the 10-wheeler, and we have another 6-wheeler dump body, then other trucks have sanders on them right now, because you can switch them back and forth
Yep,
from dump
yep.
trucks to sanders.
And I'm not, I want to know what kind of truck you will buy. That's
Oh,
because it-
mine's a utility
It
body.
hasn't, right, it hasn't been brought out.
It's a utility body,
I know
like a
what it
tool,
is, yep.
to carry all my equipment.
It's got the drop-down doors and the fold-down
Correct.
doors on the
Okay,
side.
I have to
yeah.
carry cut-off saws, chainsaws set up, because several times, at least once a week, I'm out doing trees at night.
Tim?
In weather, go ahead.
Can you please speak to why you cannot take the box off the truck that was deemed totaled to
yeah,
put
well-
on another truck?
Right, one part of that is because the truck was totaled, and that was part of the insurance, what they gave us for the other thing is the back compartments. The truck is 8 years old, and the back floor of the compartments of the utility body on my old truck are rotted out on it. So that's,
Are we buying a steel utility body, or are you gonna go with the aluminum?
I'd like to go to aluminum, but it's 20,000. So it's 7,000 more to get an aluminum body instead of,
Well, I thought you said the body that was coming on, it was 20,000.
no, the steel utility body.
Is,
It's a Reading
Yep.
steel utility body, is $13,035.
okay,
And the aluminum one is just under $20,000.
all right.
So that's why I opted to stick with the steel, because even an aluminum one after 10 years is generally beat to death.
They loosen up through use.
Believe me, I looked at an aluminum one at Lamro Ford the other day, there was one outside there,
Yeah.
and very nice, but I tried being fair with the town. Even though, and that's why I got 2 prices, the difference between an F-350 and an
That's what I
F-550,
was-
same truck. It's 6,000 and some change difference between a heavier GVW truck to the F-350. Same exact extra cab, utility body. The nice thing about the dual wheel is the bodies are wider, I get more storage space with our bigger tools that we do need to carry. That's the whole reason, and then the towing capacity and the GVW for plowing. I just try to get the best bang for the buck and the best interest of the town. And I just happen to be, because I'm in charge of this thing, I guess you could call me a supervisor too, but I'm just a worker like the rest of them that just happens to be in charge, so.
Yeah, go ahead, Matt.
One question I did have about the funding source is, his salary is split by all 3, water, sewer, and the general fund. How come this truck is not being broken up the same way?
That's a good question.
Good question.
That's a good question. I
Who's
can-
proposing the stabilization to cover the fall?
It's in the warrant, in the select board's warrant.
So the select board's proposing that funding source?
Yes, I can tell you that recently, in the last couple of days, Mark, who is here, select board member, and I've mentioned it to Tim and to Dave. Tom, I haven't seen you, so I wasn't able to mention it to you. We actually all need to get together and look at what we are not invoicing the enterprises for. And this is a prime example. And I think that this is a lot of the way past practice has gone in the town, because it has been one commission under the DPW commission with the two separate commissions, that the town has taken on some expenses that maybe it shouldn't have, and maybe we hadn't, we don't know. Because there's no actual procedures in place, there's no actual documentation in place through the years of who paid for what. There was no invoicing done when there was a water main break and DPW used the gravel. There was not an invoice to the water enterprise to say you need to pay for this gravel. None of that happened. So I would recommend that you bring up, I'm assuming you're coming to the town meeting, on town meeting floor, and change the funding source. For part of it to come from the water enterprise, some part of it to come from the sewer enterprise, and part of it to come from stabilization.
Melanie, Tom, you got any comment on that, or?
I think that's a very big conversation that should be had with the sewer commission. Because we're seeing more and more of a trend where everybody's trying to put things off to the enterprise accounts. And when it gets pushed off the enterprise accounts, it's the sewer users or the water users, which there are already people of the town. The rest of the folks, that you're not on water sewer, right? You're not paying for that technically, right? So if his truck comes out of the DPW account, everybody in town pays for that.
Right, but it's coming out of stabilization, everybody pays for it.
Right.
But I'm only getting 1/3 use of it for him to go up and down my road and see if it's been fixed or not.
So here's.
And I'm just joking with that, I'm
So
pleasing
here's-
to, I made humor out of that,
Here's another way to look at it, right? So now 1/3 of that comes out of the sewer, right? 1/3 comes out of highway, right? So 1/3 is being spread out around the entire town. The other third is just the sewer users. So the sewer users are having to pay 2/3 of that truck versus.
No, water's supposed to cover the other third. Why would sewer cover 2/3?
Water's covered a third, water and sewer both cover a third. Highway or the town pays for a third. The sewer users, right, they're paying for a third, plus they're also paying their taxes to the town. So technically, they're paying 2/3 of that truck. See what I mean?
Could we just get, I'm sorry,
Go ahead.
could we just get the DPW to bill water and sewer when they go out and do work?
Like Tom said, this is going to be a much
Yeah.
larger discussion, where we're going to have to involve the commissions in as well. But I think the place to start is with the chief operators and the superintendent, so that we can identify areas that, yes, maybe we should be invoicing for the gravel, so that when there is a water main break, we know that all of these expenditures went to this event, okay? And then we're gonna have to bring it to the commissioner.
Since I've been here, Tom, Dave, and I have been doing that anyway.
Yeah.
All the overtime has been going to the right, out of the right account.
Yeah.
Just like when, basically what I do is we keep a stockpile of materials behind the DPW as it gets used for whoever. If I use, like the other night, I used 4 loads. I replaced it with 4 loads to put water department on the slips, and those are getting paid out of the enterprise account because they were for water leaks. So we have been doing that.
Yeah.
Maybe not 100% of it has been caught, but as long as, I've been trying to do that since I've been here.
The only thing we're short on is the equipment use and the truck use. We're buying equipment, the excavator that we have, excuse me, was bought with Chapter 90 money, all right? So, basically, Chapter 90 money is road upkeep and drainage, period. So when it sits on a sewer job or a water job, that should be charged off for, the DPW should be billing the sewer or water for that. So if you take and buy the truck, like just out of the, just DPW, we can still charge off the time for the truck.
Except that
for everything
his salary and also his travel back and forth from home, these are beyond your normal use of that vehicle. That's why I think this is a little different than another DPW truck for the highway department. Because his salary's split evenly in thirds, why would we treat what in a way is a benefit to him for holding that position, a vehicle to drive home and come back, as part of the salary that would be broken up into thirds? That's my only point. The initial purchase of that truck is to cover the entire DPW and the supervision of same. It's not just for roads here, sewer here, water here. And that's, I wouldn't bring this up if it was just another pickup.
Understood, but
You
they
know,
have
'cause
their own
I-
vehicles as
it's a
well.
difference.
Tom has his own, you know, one-ton truck, Water has their own one-ton truck, you know what I mean?
So is that-
That's simply what he's doing, is getting a replacement for what he had, and it happens to be a one-ton that works out better.
All right, yeah, so understood, it's a shared asset across the DPW, water and sewer, right? So can we vote to give any recommendation as it's worded currently? Can we still give the recommendation even
Yeah.
though it's coming out of a separate, it's gonna be coming out of a different fund?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Right, because this is the
Yes.
capital
Okay.
improvement
Just-
stabilization.
just wanna
fund.
make sure before we move forward with
You know, I
any
think
kind of.
that's gonna have to be something, you know, we've had discussions over the past 2 weeks about this. We need to come up with what's gonna be right, you know,
Mm.
fair to the town. And as of right now, we can't answer any of that right now because there's nothing, no policies in place to, other than what we know about where the pays. When it comes to the equipment, we need to sit down and hash that out between all the department heads, the town administrator and selectmen. And I think it's a positive thing for the future, but as of right now, with what's in front of us, I think we need to just go with what was planned.
Zach, I'm gonna, I mean, you can still vote on it because it's known at this meeting. I've never run into this situation while
Okay.
going over a warrant, so I would recommend that you just do your vote.
Okay,
What
And I
is-
will check with town council as to how to record it,
okay.
okay?
You already know, though, that it's not coming out of capital improvement stabilization.
Yes.
It's coming out of something else.
Yes, but that's what I mean, I've never been in this situation where this has happened, when you're voting favorable or not favorable. The warrant is already posted, so that can't be changed. So I'm gonna check with town council to find out how we word your favorable on here. Do we put
Mhm.
favorable to come out of stabilization,
Mhm.
as discussed at the meeting, or how do I record that
Okay.
in here?
Okay.
Okay.
And I apologize for the situation, but it was nothing that I did. It was,
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You okay?
yeah, I'm
You were,
okay.
you were in the truck.
You know, and then
Yeah.
we were
You got-
planning on the 27 budget to replace 3 pickups at once. This just happened, it was nothing that was planned, believe me.
Well,
I
you were
was-
planning on to do that on the budget, out of
I
your
was gonna-
budget.
We were gonna try to do it in the 27 budget, yes. We've got a meeting coming up, you know, our final budget stuff, and my time slot is March 3rd to have everything, you know, finalized with the DPW budget. That was one thing that myself, Tom, and Dave from Water and Sewer were going to be approaching, is the replacement of 3 pickups at once. And that's past practice, it's been that way.
Okay.
Okay.
So I
And,
guess the question I have is, if it's gonna be switched from the not capital improvement, this basic stabilization fund,
To that, yes.
Yes.
right? Or are we saying that it's gonna go through the
That,
3
that would have to
departments?
be, that would have to be changed. We're gonna, I believe, have to make 2 changes on town meeting floor. One to go from capital stabilization to just stabilization, and then if, I'm sorry, I don't know what, your name, who are you?
Matt Urban.
Matt Urban, okay. Oh, you're Matt Urban, I nice to meet you. And then if Mr. Urban wants to then change it again,
Yeah.
he can do that. So, but we need to correct it from the funding source of where it would come from our standpoint, and then Mr. Urban can do that.
We would have to know in advance of that there's money in their stabilization accounts,
Oh, and their retained earnings?
retained earnings, or
Retained
whatever you wanna
earnings.
call it, to actually pay for what might be voted on.
And like I said, that's gonna be a larger discussion anyway, so, yeah. But either way,
Right.
Right,
the
we need to,
DPW
Yeah.
superintendent needs a truck.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So-
oh, without,
Yeah.
without a
So
doubt.
we can split hairs all
Alright.
night long
Yes.
and talk round and round,
Yeah.
but the man needs a truck.
yeah. So, I'm gonna make a motion for a favorable recommendation to use $71,915.02 from a account to purchase the DPW superintendent's truck.
Second.
We have a motion for favorable and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right. right, moving on to new Article 5, which was originally Article 9, which is the bylaw amendment for zoning, Chapter 140. Yes.
Before we do that, Chief Virgilio, is it Virgilio or Virgilio? Virgilio. Like, you should be Reginas, but you're Reginas, you guys.
That's right, try saying my last name.
I'll pass on that. You're lucky I changed mine. So he is actually, I asked him to come to actually speak
Awesome.
on the ambulance because I knew that,
Oh.
I know that there were questions about that as well.
Yeah, come on up.
What number is that? This one?
Ask away, I'll try to answer the best I can.
So I think, I think that I should clarify a little bit. So we had this, quote for a brand new ambulance, correct? And then Mr. Stevens had gotten a couple of quotes, one for an ambulance that wasn't sufficient for our needs, it was too light, and then for one that was a 550
Yeah,
as well. So,
we're still trying to figure out which is
yeah.
which we're gonna go with, but they're all in the same price range, so. Yeah, so basically, the ambulance was totaled December of last year. It took until at least July for them to give us a appraisal of it. Part of that was because there's not a lot of that style cab chassis out there. It was a CV 5500 International 4-wheel drive diesel. So it took a long time for them to find a match to figure out what the value of that ambulance was. They finally came back and gave us a cost, not a replacement cost, but an actual cash value of $185,103. And they totaled it. So that was no remounting the box in the back. It was just totaled. So they gave us that little amount for a truck. I got, just talking to the salesman that we bought that truck from, replacement cost was around $430. Like looking into it a little bit, we got that cost down, but we want to go to a Ford. It's cheaper than the International cab. Also, a lot of our crews don't like that truck. If you've seen it, it looks big. It's just tall. It's not as big as it looks. It's actually really small. It's in the cab, not the box. The box is awesome. But so we went to Ford, and then we wanted to go gas for the same reasons that
Yeah.
Tim was talking about. A lot of area departments are trying the gas route. Same thing as our truck can sit on seat and idle for hours. While we go a little further distance than the DPW, bumming around town, we don't really do any highway travel. Once in a while, if we get detoured when we're going to UMass or Memorial, we'll hop on the highway, but it's not enough to actually burn out the particulates in the filter. So they call it passive regen. So we're doing a lot of like forced regens just to clean it up. So we wanted to go the gas route. As Tim said, it's substantially cheaper also.
And that would affect calls, right? If you're doing the forced regen and you're waiting for it to burn off that.
You can stop it, but it's not good.
Right, right,
So,
right.
and the same thing as Tim, I own multiple diesel vehicles. And it's kind of hard for me to say, hey, we want a gas job, but same thing with me, like, I'm looking, if I ever replace my pickup, it's probably gonna be a gas job.
Yeah.
Unless they get rid of all the emissions on the small cars.
And the new truck that's sitting out here right now that we got in June, James has driven it, and, you know, we're both truck guys. I love it.
Yeah,
Like I say, I'm a diesel fan, but I also like that.
I took it for a test drive, it was peppy. The turning radius is far surpasses the truck we have now by like light years, which is a big deal when you're trying to get into some of the driveways in the towns and everything else.
So this ambulance is available right away?
So it is, I was told it was in production.
Okay.
So the one, we'll say the brand, one from one is in production and the other one could be a year. I wanna go look at one of the truck that's in production. There's a couple surrounding towns that have them, and just make sure it's a good quality.
Okay.
It's a smaller box, so we're not 100% sure, and it's actually a little bit more money, so. But, we have a Band-Aid that we've been working on, our old A1, hopefully, all the repairs are done on it to act as a Band-Aid for a bridge until we can get a new truck.
What's the delivery time on both of them?
One, I was told it was in production, but we can change things, so that leads me to believe that it's later but sooner.
Right.
And then one's within a year.
Which is actually pretty fast.
Which is really fast. It's taking the place of the truck they already have. They have one in the queue, and we're just gonna steal that truck because they know we got some issues.
I do want to point out too that I talked to our insurance company, and both of these vehicles are actually in subrogation with them, which I didn't even know was a word, but apparently.
I was gonna say, wait a minute, what does that
They are
mean?
going after them for as much as they possibly can. After the appraisal was done, after we got the appraised money, now they're going after them. The ambulance might be more likely. Verizon declined to give us anything, so now they're just in subrogation for it. The ambulance is more likely that we'll get something because it's Verizon than Tim's truck, but we're trying both of them. So it's not that this is what we accepted and this is all that we're going to do. We do work behind the scenes as well to try to recoup some of the funds.
And that ambulance was a 221, and it had about 80,000 miles, low 80s. So it's been around, it's gone a few calls. And not having a second ambulance right now, we're already at almost 40,000 miles, because usually we rotate, like every couple of weeks we'll rotate just to keep the wear off one. And then having a second truck allows us to take one off the road to get repairs, tires, oil changes. We had a directional issue the other day, and the tech came out, and we were lucky enough that they came out here, so it wasn't off the road for a little bit, but if we needed it, we gotta keep the tech out and we can run it.
Do we think that A1 has a chance of making it another year?
I think we can get through a year. Wouldn't put it past that, so I'm hoping that it can get through a year. We've done brakes, tires, spindle, some bearings, batteries, some other miscellaneous stuff in there. I can't think of it right now.
Since the accident, did we use A1 continuously from after the accident, or were we-
Old one, A1,
The old
the white one? No, so that was taken out of service, and we were actually getting ready to auction it.
Yeah.
So, because we knew, and we were waiting on what the insurance was gonna say, like, were they gonna come back, were they gonna use the rental, were they gonna, and pretty much from the research we did, there's a lot of ambulance rentals out there. We borrowed a couple for a while to have, but we ended up giving them back, like, just didn't want the break on our charge, and so, we've gone down to one, which hasn't helped with second calls, we've just did some second calls because we're down to one.
Yeah. Have we had to do any repairs on A1 since it went back into service?
Older one?
The old one, A1.
Yeah, that's the one that's been, we've had the wheels and the wheel bearing.
Do we have an estimate off the top of your head?
Around 6,000 right now. So, like 8 was my threshold to try to keep it through a year, and then we're getting close, so hopefully the mechanic went through it pretty good. It's gone to Dave's. We had an issue after, I don't know if it's because it sat, or they were just bad wheel bearings. The wheel bearing went when we were getting it re-lettered because it was ready to get shipped off. So we had it re-lettered, and we thought it was a bad brake caliper. It ended up being a bad bearing, and it ate the rear spindle. So a spindle specialist came in and fixed that.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
Thank you, James.
All right, so yeah, moving on to Article 5, so bylaw amendment for zoning chapter 140. This is to see if the town will vote to amend code of the town of Barre zoning chapter 140 by inserting new section 140-10.2, battery energy storage as on file with the planning board, or take any other action relative thereto. So I know we
Is
have.
there someone from the,
Well, actually,
I'm on the
go,
planning
go,
board,
go ahead.
so I can
Perfect.
speak to the general
Yep.
concept on what's going on.
yes,
All right, so Massachusetts in November, either through the court system or through the law, I forget, it made lithium-ion batteries and large battery, they have kind of made it a by right. So we never had a bylaw in place, and we didn't expect to need it right away because it was just something that we didn't understand at the time. And then we had somebody come in for subdivision and they specifically said they're freezing the zoning with the intent to pursue a potential energy battery storage right in a residential neighborhood in town. So we moved forward, started the public hearing, so that any future people coming in would at least have some type of regulations to follow, to come before the planning board, do a better, like, it allows us more site-specific decision-making depending on where in town you're at. It's generally the best way to put it. And additional build-outs that may be based on either safety or visual effects, other things like that. Acoustic issues were a big comment that came up during this, was batteries will be making noise at night. It's not like solar that just go quiet because the transformer's not running. At night, the batteries are intended to actually be refeeding, so all the batteries in the transformers will be making noise on a large battery. So in certain areas, that neighborhood will no longer have the quieter nighttime light at all. You just can't avoid it, whatever's within so many feet. And feet, I mean like probably depending on topography, it could go anywhere from 1,000 to, like I live on Williamsville, I can hear the concerts from Stone Cow. So I'm just saying, topography makes a difference on how the noise travels, so certain areas it's a lot worse than others. So it just allows us to request certain developers to do certain studies at their cost to make sure that these things are, how they're gonna affect us and how we may or may not be able to mitigate some of those effects. That's generally the intent. How the state interprets these, they've been very reluctant to accept bylaws that seem to be overly restrictive, because they really want to move forward with what they consider a piece of their green energy program. So we had to keep that in consideration, so we've got a lot of regs in there, but we also tried to make sure it wouldn't be perceived as overly burdensome to the applicant. We'll see how it goes. Once the town does or doesn't vote it in, the AG still has the final voice, so we'll see what comes from that.
And is there consideration for, like, outside of noise, like safety? I know the research I've done on these is they can fall into thermal runaway, which basically one cell overheats, which causes the next cell to overheat and then catches on fire. As far as I know, fire suppression is pretty much, there isn't one for.
Chemicals create a chain reaction where the only way to stop the fire is to actually be able to remove the heat completely, which we don't have physical means of doing, so they just let it run out. Because water, CO2, things like that, they don't quench it because it releases its own oxygen to maintain the fire.
Right.
So you can't do it by removing the oxygen, you have to do it by removing the heat.
Right.
Some of these places, the newer batteries are starting to create some form of self-containment. So at least one battery doesn't then sit the next. I don't wanna say they've been out in the field long enough to know how well that does or doesn't work, so I'm not suggesting whether it's right or wrong.
Mhm.
But I know technology is advancing on some of this stuff, intended to make it better. Even some of the lithium, I guess, base chemicals used are using some nickel and zinc versus some cobalt and something else, and that's supposed to be a little safer. But these are just initial studies I read, so I can't state, I don't think it's any less toxic. So that's the other bigger concern, is how fires then create the other issues. Runoff, whether it's fire hoses, even if it's not trying to put that fire out, but it's trying to prevent it from spreading to everywhere else, that water will pick up smoke, lithium, whatever, and run it downhill from there.
Yep.
So these are concerns we try to put in and mitigate. Some of it may even be, depending on the site and location, the requirement is they're gonna have to pay for a whole new water main to bring it all down water up, or they're gonna have to create their own like water tower and pump distribution to ensure that, not that the fire department shows up and saves their batteries, it's that they show up to save everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's almost like surround your area with hydrants and you're gonna be spraying out. We'll be working with the chief, depending on how that process goes. We built in that the chief has a role in that decision process. So we didn't put in what I would call prescriptive details with that. Those are generalized that will come from different authorities having jurisdiction, providing input as to our request for how the development is designed.
So it's basically, oh, sorry, I was just gonna say, so it's basically just giving us the most control over something we kind of don't have control over.
Some control.
That's the intent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is,
Yes,
It won't
that's
be
the intent.
most.
is there anything with environmental impact studies?
We have various studies written in, and we also have different levels of bonding that we are recommending, whether some of it bonding for decommissioning, some of it bonding for environmental impacts due to failures of the system. There's different levels layered in. Part of that was broken out because we also don't know if the AG office will say, well, you can do this, but not this, and they take this paragraph out. It doesn't remove all the bonding to help protect the town in the event of things not going well. Or someone abandoning a site and leaving 100 lithium batteries there for someone else to clean up someday. Because our country's great for just plain bankruptcy and it's not your problem anymore. So yes, those are things we try to include. Again, I don't know how far we'll get, but I do believe it is the best we could provide to put in front of the town and see where we can go from there.
And would the tax rate be different? And that might be more of an assessor question, but would the tax rate be different for something zoned as hazardous? Or-
So historically with green energy stuff, similar to solar, what they've done is they've turned them into payment in lieu of taxes agreements because it's a depreciating property. So you're not getting this huge revenue like everybody thought because it's like a commercial industry. You can't really tax them on their revenue. So you've gotta tax them on the land value and then you've gotta tax them on their property. And so you usually get some depreciation. Batteries right now though, their lives are like 10 years. You're not gonna get great tax revenues. I'll be honest, I doubt this industry is gonna get what any of the solar used to get you. And the hazards are higher. So it's gonna be an interesting step forward with the state.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a lot of benefits there.
No, not at all.
I just got a feeling some decision makers made decisions because they know it's not gonna happen in their town or in their neighborhood. And so it was easy to just sign off and say, yes, this is good for the state. I hate to say that, I'm not trying to beat anybody up, but I think a lot of that's how it worked. The incentive programs are set up to work for the easiest location to develop, which is rural communities where the land is cheaper than putting it anywhere else. So yeah, they're not looking to jump on anything east of 495 unless they get a nice comfy deal with something. Or they got lucky, they own a brownfield and now they can actually do something with it. I don't see a lot of, it's happening. I mean, you're getting some in Carter, you're getting some in Uxbridge, but these are, again, are the smaller communities where it's cheaper to buy the land and then you're just dropping batteries, connecting and walking away and it's yeah, the incentives aren't set up to, what I would suggest, properly have a plan on how to do this to the benefit of all.
Could I pose a question
Yes.
to Matt? Matt, and I know I was at the planning board meeting, but have you guys developed anything as far as containment of contaminants if there is a thermal runaway? I know, you know, they've got to be, and the chief could address that, but it has to be continuously covered with water to try to cool it, and at the same time put out the fire. but that means the contaminants are gonna be going into the soil, into the groundwater that the town and all the residents use. Is there anything in place to contain the contaminants that would be,
The bylaw does require the applicants to provide emergency action plans and similar things like that. So there's like 2 or 3 different plans that relate to specifically these different things that, and the reason there's 3 different things is partly, again, cross out one paragraph, you still get the other 2. Partly because of the way they're described, you can't easily just apply it to all 3 things at once. So they have their separate sections to clarify the emergency response versus a fire response versus what's the response when it's all done and how do you clean it up? Like, these are different pieces, and each one kind of has their own requested plan to be submitted. So that we have that input, and we can make sure that all of our public safety, utility and infrastructure, wherever it may come into play, have a say in it, because it's kind of important.
thank you.
Well, I, for one, trust our planning board to have made the best possible choice in our town's favor, so I'm going to make a motion for a favorable recommendation for Article number 5.
I'll second that.
I'll second that.
Got 2 seconds? All right, we got a favorable motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I do want to say too that Attorney Winner, who helped the planning board create this, he will be at the special town meeting. So we'll have 2 attorneys. We'll have our regular town council and then Attorney Winner as well.
Thank you.
Okay, all right. Took care of that. And then last was to just review budget presentation schedule.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to put on your agenda for you, so I just slapped her on there too. I don't know if you ever actually discussed it or not, so I figured we'd take a look at it.
I did get input from Leanne, just as far as what she saw. So I know we moved just a couple things around regarding the school,
Yes.
but I think it's pretty standard to what we did the last few years. So I think we're good with that, unless anything jumps out to anybody.
It's the last page.
Yeah, last page.
Yeah. Have you gotten a lot of budget?
They're rolling in, yeah.
Okay.
I have to wait for some of them for their board and committees, just because of
Right,
how
the way
they're
it goes.
falling.
Yeah.
But yep, they're rolling in.
Okay, that's good.
All right, everybody good with the schedule?
Yes. I am.
Outstanding. All right, with that being said, I will make a motion to adjourn the.
Oh, can I
Oh.
ask a question real quick?
Sure, go ahead.
That just popped into my head. So, I was told that you guys have to have a hearing before the special town meeting, or do you just have a meeting before the special town
We
meeting?
typically have a meeting before the
Okay,
special
so
town.
do
meeting.
you,
Yeah.
what time do you want that scheduled
It's
for?
usually an hour before the special town
I would
meeting.
say so 5:30
Yes.
over at the school?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it's usually the school.
There used to be I thought, a public hearing a week or 2 before.
We've done the
You
public
usually do it
hearing
at
for the
senior
regular
center or
town
here.
meeting.
You would have a presentation,
For
present the
regular,
budget to the town prior to the meeting.
for the regular town meeting.
Yeah.
You didn't do it for special?
For annual
And
town
that's fine.
meeting.
I
No,
thought it
as
was
far as
all-
I know, for annual town meeting, we
Yeah.
always have a hearing at the senior center, and we go over each of the things and our whole
And that's
booklet.
why I'm bringing up that.
Yeah,
Might be
and-
what
but
Melanie
for all
was
the
sharing,
ones that have
accurate
been-
details.
Yeah,
At
for the special
special
town.
towns, we've always just had like a
Yeah.
meeting like an hour before in
Yep.
the
Yeah.
teachers' conference room.
Yes, yep.
So do we want to schedule, you said at the senior center you usually do it? When do you usually do that?
That's for annual town meeting. So we usually do that like a week before, I think it's a week
So-
before.
So you can make sure
Um,
your info is
And that's on a
accurate as you can
Tuesday
get
night
it.
as well, or do you do that at a different time?
I want to say it was a Wednesday last year, but maybe it was a Tuesday. I can look back.
Can we,
How do I look for that?
I mean, some towns do it on a Saturday
Public
morning.
hearing.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it was
Yeah.
definitely at night, and it was on a
Yeah.
Tuesday at 6:30.
Okay.
Our last one.
And
So
like the week before?
And it's like the week before, yeah. And usually we just have it, ask everybody who can to come and,
So see, we've got a placeholder for an extra budget meeting on April 14th.
Yep,
So we could just pencil it in for then? Does that work for everybody?
that would be like about a month before the town meeting,
You
is
wanna
that?
do it a month before?
It's almost 2 months. We usually, the second week in June?
yeah, no,
it's
I would
May
say
19th.
this,
I have a whole schedule. I don't.
Ain't
would
no
it be
town
this
meeting in
May
May.
4th one?
Thank you.
You're
That is
welcome.
completely new. It used to always be in June at least.
I would have done it sooner, but it's the first
So
year we're moving
placeholder
it
for
up,
extra
so I
warrant
didn't
meeting
wanna
on
be
Monday,
like
May
an
4th.
overachiever. I figured I'd come.
Okay, May 4th?
Yeah, so it says placeholder for extra
All right.
warrant meeting, Monday, May 4th. That's like a week and a half before the,
Yeah, let's,
so
right.
that should be a good
wanna-
date if we
you
want to
wanna
do
do
that
that,
one
the May
for
4th?
the,
Okay.
yeah, for the
Yep.
senior center.
The Monday, May 4th is.
Yeah, and
okay.
it's the, what's it called?
I don't know what you guys call it.
Hearing, I don't know, public hearing?
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's the one we have to post it in 4 public places. I don't remember if it's a week or 2 weeks before the meeting, but, oh, May the 4th be with you.
Oh.
All right.
All right, cool.
Sounds good.
Anybody have anything else? Nothing? All right.
Yeah.
I will make a motion to adjourn the Barre Finance Committee meeting at 7:31 PM.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you for coming, everyone.
Yes, thank you.
I thought people had this option.
Don't forget to show up.